everyone, my name's Miranda and today I'm here to review the second episode of Scream Queens. Wow, I am using a lot of hand gestures in the first 10 seconds. Anyway, this episode I loved 10,000 times better than the first two episodes that the premiere was, even though it felt really short because obviously it was an hour instead of 2 hours. Like by the time it was done, I'm like, that's it? That's all that happened? But like I said, I enjoyed this one so much better. Like this is where I was like, I could really learn to love and enjoy this show because it totally nailed the tone I feel like it's been going for. I feel like it finally hit its stride and I'm hoping that it stays that way, where everything was just like this like absurdly funny stuff. And one thing that I'm really enjoying is like whenever someone gets attacked by the killer, they turn into like ninjas. Like they start like kicking and throwing. And what I really enjoy about it is it's mostly the girls who are actually like, they turn into like female warriors when they've been attacked, because aside from Coney, we'll get to him after, it's like whenever the killer goes after them, it's like they're kicking and they're screaming and they're doing all these like moves that I never would imagine they'd be able to in real life, whereas the boys kind of, it just happens to them. They're the ones that get hurt when the killer comes and attacks them, and they're the ones that we don't really see them struggle, we just see them dead afterwards. Nick Jonas's character and Grace's dad. So that's like one thing I've really been loving. Like that scene with, I don't know what her name is, but the lady from SNL at the end, that was hysterical. When just like kicked him over the couch, I was like, you go woman, do not let him kill you. And we definitely got some more clues as to who the killer is, but I'm still not 100% certain who it is. I'm suspicious of how quickly Grace was willing to write Pete off and how like quickly he just like brushed it off and was like, oh, that's okay, you accused me of being a killer. Like he made one crack about it, but now they're like BFFs again, so that's a tad suspicious to me. And then we've also gotten hints that Grace's dad might be more than we thought he was. Skylar Samuels, who plays Grace, actually had an interview where they asked her who she thought the killer was, and she said that she thinks Grace's dad has something to do with it, even though none of the actors know who the killer is as of now. She said that she just thinks there's something that he's not telling Grace and it might have something to do with the killings, and you could definitely see that in that he thought Texas Chainsaw Massacre was an appropriate movie to show on a campus where students are being killed, and he was like smiling as it wrapped up, and then he got like really like disturbed looking when he was saying everything, how he's like, you can't run from your past, it defines who you are. His whole face and demeanor just like changed completely, to where I was like, this looks like a cold-blooded killer. Like I'm a tad afraid. It starts to make you think, like when he's all like, I want to protect Grace, I want to protect Grace, what if he wants to protect her not from the killer, even though he's not going to let her get killed because that's his daughter, but what if he wants to protect her from finding out the truth about whatever happened that night with the bathtub and the baby and who this person is. So I could see him being the killer, but I don't think he's gonna go after Grace if he is. But the biggest revelation of the night was that there are two killers, which I feel like is such a good twist, because it's exactly like the security guard lady said, that you can't really discount anyone now, because whenever you're like, oh, it can't be Pete, he was with Grace when the Red Devil attacked the lawyer lady at the Kappa house, it can't be Pete because he can't be in two places at once. Now that there's a partner, you really can't discount anyone, because even if they're not in the location, or even if they are in the location but you can like see them have a scene with Red Devil, I feel like now you can't discount anyone, because you could be like, oh, that could just be their partner. Really, as stupid as it sounds, but like the best defense for not being the killer is being killed. So like really the thing that makes everyone suspicious is the fact that they're alive right now, and I think that's so trippy and so twisty, so I really love that twist. And then also, hands down, favorite scene, I don't like Chad. I think he's really spoiled and stupid and obnoxious, but his lines are hysterical. Like when he had that whole meeting with his Dickie Dollar Scholar brothers or whatever, and he talked about how he saw the bloody footprints leading to the bathroom and then back up, and he was like, unless he slit his throat, then felt he needed to go to the bathroom, went to the bathroom, peed, and then laid back down in the exact spot he had laid originally. I don't think this was a suicide or whatever, and I thought that was funny. So then all of them decided to avenge Boone's death in the best way they know how, going out with baseball bats and yelling the Red Devil's name, because there's a ghetto code apparently that if you yell someone's name, they have to come out and confront you. So this was just the best scene. I fell off the couch laughing. They go out dressed all in white and are strutting down with their baseball bats to Backstreet Boys. And I was like, this is ridiculous, but it's so perfect. That's when we found out there were 2 Red Devils because there was 1 on each side. So everyone went after one, and then Chad on his own went after the other. For some reason, Chad got knocked out, but not killed, which is suspicious to me right there because I feel like obviously Boone has to be one of these 2 that we've seen. So I think he was in that scene, and he was the one that Chad went after, and then he didn't kill Chad because Chad is his best friend, crush, I don't know what the actual term for them is. The beginning scene too was so funny when they tased that kid because he was dressed like the Red Devil. I was like, oh my gosh, this show is getting so funny and so good. And then they confiscated the tasers. That's my favorite part, like how inept everyone is to deal with this. Like, they confiscate tasers, they play scary movies about college kids getting killed. Like, no one knows how to deal with this, and it's making me laugh so much. No one was killed in this episode that we really knew. I mean, Coney was killed, tragically. R.I.P. Coney. One of those Dickie kids, I'm assuming, was killed. Maybe they prevented blood loss, but I'm putting my money that he's not alive anymore. But he looked alive when he was on the ground, so maybe they got into a hospital fast enough. Who knows? But I still have no idea who the killer is. Like, my money is on Pete and Boone. I could see them being like a tag team, but then again, I feel like it's too obvious. So I just feel like we need to start learning more about what happened that night in the bathtubs. I feel like next week's episode is really going to set that up. But I feel like this is one of those shows that you're not going to be able to tell who the killer is, especially me, because everyone I think who the killer is, it's because they give clues to it. But then, like, I'm going to be like, oh no, they can't be the killer because they gave clues. But like I said, right now I'm thinking Boone and Pete are some kind of tag team. I could be wrong. My gut is telling me that the killer is definitely a guy, but I could be wrong. Maybe it is a girl masterminding this whole thing. I don't know. I would really like it if Leah Michelle, if Hester turned out to be the killer. Like, she like loves all these people, but she like knows how much to do about these bodies, so I think that would be so cool if Hester was the killer. But I'm really interested to see where it goes, and like I said, I really love the direction this episode took the show in, and I hope it can continue with this kind of balance between horrifying and funny at the same time, and I'm really excited. So if you have watched the new episode of Scream Queens, leave down below what you thought and who your predictions are now for the killer, because mine is staying. I just think now Boone is working with Pete, so who knows what's going to happen. Thank you guys all so much for watching. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to my channel down below so people want to make all sorts of new videos, and I will see you guys next time. Bye! Staying alive, staying alive.